What is going on, Crypto Fiends? Ryan Mottola here at the Crypto Fiend Studio. Today, we have a lot of exciting stuff we are going to be talking about, a lot of big developments, a lot of big news happening in the cryptocurrency space today. So we're going to be diving right in and not wasting any more of your time. So to start things off, I want to discuss the IRS. And I know every time anyone says that word, you kind of cringe, you don't want to think about it, but we do need to discuss it, especially if you are a cryptocurrency investor in the United States. We're not going to waste too much time on this article, but I do want to briefly go over it. So the IRS about 2 days ago went ahead and sent out another round of letters warning cryptocurrency users that if you did not pay taxes on crypto, you need to file your taxes, as well as sending out letters that if you did file taxes and you filed them wrong, they're telling you that you filed them wrong. We know approximately how much you need to be filing in taxes, and they're also sending out sort of educational guidelines as to how to file your taxes. Supposedly, they sent out approximately 10,000 letters to U.S. Citizens. I feel like it should be way more than that, but 10,000 to U.S. citizens that they think need to be filing a little bit more, or if you haven't filed at all. Now, unfortunately, this is a big deal, guys, because you don't want to get audited in the future and have to pay off a way larger amount than you initially thought, especially when we do begin to have our cryptocurrency portfolios grow in the future as well. Now, it is unfortunate that the IRS is such a pain in the ass because they don't really tell anyone the layman's terms of what the tax laws are for cryptocurrencies. Supposedly, you have to pay taxes when you transfer from a wallet to an exchange. You have to pay when you switch from ethereum to Bitcoin, etc. And of course, you have to pay when you withdraw from the market, and you have to pay capital gains tax. So it's completely ludicrous that we have all these little tax penalties left and right for cryptocurrencies. And I seriously believe in the future, when cryptocurrencies do become more mainstream and they're in the traditional institutions, that the majority of these tax laws will be reduced greatly, most likely to just capital gains tax when you withdraw into your bank account, etc. And I think that is the most logical way to go about this, because the current way that this is dealt is just completely ludicrous, and 99% of the United States population is not going to understand how to deal with these taxes, and unfortunately, that's going to keep a lot of potential investors away from the cryptocurrency space. So that's where we currently stand. Make sure if you did get one of these letters that you do comply, you figure out how much you owe, etc. And that's another thing that bugs me, is that they do state that they are sending out letters to people that filed the improper amount, and they're telling you that, hey, we know how much you should be owing us, but we're not going to tell you how much you owe. You have to figure it out yourself and come back to us. And if it's wrong, then we're going to audit you. We might throw you in jail. You're going to owe a bunch of money. The IRS sucks ass, and if anyone supports them, I'm sorry, unsubscribe from the YouTube channel. Next up, we are going to be talking about the Bakkt exchange. Bakkt came out today, breaking news, and announced that they will be launching their exchange on September 23rd. Now, we know that Bakkt has been delayed for a very long time now. They originally were supposed to launch in August of 2018, so a whole year ago. But now they are supposed to launch on September 23rd. And I do believe this will be the official launch, because they're not foolish. They don't want to come out and say we're launching on this date and delay their exchange again. So with the Bakkt exchange, if you're not familiar, they will be offering physically delivered future contracts. That's pretty much just for institutional investors that don't want to directly deal with Bitcoin themselves. They can deal with it through Bakkt. Now, if you guys are not familiar, Bakkt exchange is backed by Microsoft, Starbucks, and ICE. So a lot of big companies are behind this exchange. And I seriously think this is going to be a major turning point for Bitcoin specifically, and the overall viewpoint that Bitcoin has on the institutional financial market. I think we are seriously going to start to see big players coming out into the forefront and saying, hey, we own Bitcoin, we're buying Bitcoin. Maybe you should too. Now, I don't see that happening right away when this launches, but especially when we near all-time highs, you're going to see a lot of these institutions coming out and saying that they have been buying Bitcoin throughout all of these dips, and it's 100% definite that they have been. And they're going to be doing that at all-time highs because they want to bring it out into the mainstream when the average Joe Schmo is finally understanding what Bitcoin is or getting involved. When Bitcoin's at all-time highs, those foolish investors will be buying in at around all-time highs, around $20,000, and that will pump these institutional bags to the absolute moon. So that's my prediction. That's what I think is seriously going to happen. When we near all-time highs again, you're going to see a lot of institutions coming out publicly and stating that they have been purchasing Bitcoin throughout the entire bear market. Next up, I want to briefly go over some exciting developments happening with Coinbase. Coinbase just recently purchased Zapdos institutions into its custodial operations last night. After the announcement, the Coinbase CEO came out and said this, and I find this so fascinating, and it's pretty clear to see that big money is coming into the space, and we're just not seeing it right now. The CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, stated whether institutions were going to adopt crypto or not was an open question about 12 months ago. I think it's safe to say that we now know the answer. We're seeing $200 to $400 million a week in new crypto deposits come in from institutional customers. You guys heard that right. The CEO himself stated that they are having $200 to $400 million a week, $200 to $400 million a week coming in to Coinbase from institutional investors. If that does not speak adoption, I seriously don't know what does. So I really appreciate that the CEO of Coinbase came out and said this, and they're really, I feel like they're really working on their transparency, because that's definitely something they've lacked a lot in the past, especially how they have to deal with the IRS side by side. And I guarantee that's not a fun situation, but it's safe to say that money is beginning to flow in, and just because you're not seeing it in the market cap does not mean that it's not flowing in. Keep in mind, guys, we are still breaking all-time highs when it comes to daily trading volume, and that is massive considering previously from this trading volume was all-time highs back in December and January of 2017, 2018. So money is moving around, and a lot of this money is moving around over the counter as well. So that's just something to keep in mind. But it's great to see that the CEO of Coinbase just confirmed our beliefs a little more. So next up, I want to briefly go over China's digital fiat currency. So if you guys are not familiar, the Bank of China came out, the People's Bank of China came out and stated that they will be launching a China digital currency, and they weren't really specific on what it's all about, how it's going to operate, all that sort of stuff. But we do have a little bit of a takeaway from what they are going to be launching. We're not going to be diving too deep into it, but what we have is a review of over 50 patent applications submitted by the People's Bank of China shows that the design of its central bank digital currency will only resemble a cryptocurrency in limited ways. A senior official at the central bank said the effort will be helpful to restrain public's demands for crypto assets and to strengthen the country's sovereign currency, and the issuance of the central bank's digital currency will stick to a centralized management model. So pretty much what this is saying, it's probably going to be very similar to what Facebook and Libra are trying to produce. It's not going to resemble Bitcoin in any such manner. It is going to, from what I see, going to be a somewhat stable currency, a fiat stable currency. And they want to do this to pretty much strengthen and the demand for cryptocurrency in China. And in the grand scheme, I don't see this being a bad thing. I seriously think whenever these countries or these big institutions come out and say they want to launch their own cryptocurrency, it only strengthens the current cryptocurrency community, and it only strengthens Bitcoin as a whole. So I see this being as a good thing that they are somewhat adopting the technology, and this will seriously only help Bitcoin in the long term, in my opinion. Also, Binance will be launching, they're supposedly going to be launching their US cryptocurrency exchange by November. So stay tuned for that. If you are a US investor, you can look into that. Personally, I will most likely use the Binance exchange, but if I do have other options that don't have to deal with the United States specifically, I will most likely use those options comparative to Binance as of right now. And a lot of it, I really find it fascinating. A lot of these wallets out there, like the Exodus wallet, they do have an option to exchange directly in the wallet. Now, they don't have every cryptocurrency, but they do have a large array, and that's always a great option, these swapping exchanges, stuff like that, so you don't have to directly sign up and fill out KYC or anything like that. So that is all the news I have for you guys today. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about all this news, as well as some content you guys would like to see on this channel. I seriously want to interact with you guys more, so leave comments down below. I would love to respond to them, and we'll get a little community conversation going on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did find this video informative, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next.